Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today going to be an opinion piece. When I did the video where I announced that, as far as I knew, the SKX was discontinued, I told you that I had my own ideas and I would do a video on it, so this is that video. So as I reported in a video, I don't know, a month or two ago, it's my opinion that the SKX was discontinued. I say my opinion because I have really good information, basically from Seiko, that it's discontinued. But until the supply 100% stops, of course, the small degree of doubt is always there. But for all intents and purposes, discontinued. Supply comes in dribs and drabs at this point. Prices are going up, so we all know what that means. So I have a few points, actually I have 5 points that I want to discuss with you, and they're all separate. Some lead into the others, but these are totally, strictly 100% my opinions. You can disagree with them, you can agree with them. Maybe you have your own opinions, but judging from what I know about the industry, what I know about the corporate company itself, this is what I think. So in no particular order, number one, the movement is obviously antiquated and obsolete at this point. The 7S26. Seiko USA discontinued their USA versions of the SKX about 3 years ago at this point. So the writing was on the wall. But the 7S26 movement itself, it's been around since, I guess, the 90s, mid-90s. It doesn't hand wind, doesn't hack. Obviously supplanted by the 4R36, 4R35, and all of the other, TMI variants, the NH35, NH36, all those other movements. So, you're putting an antiquated movement in a watch. Why continue to do it? A lot of you will say, oh, we'll just change it to a 4R36. But the rest of my points will kind of feed in on that. I have more written here. Number two, again, no particular order, but as you guys saw a few weeks ago, Seiko 5 has totally been reimagined. Gone are the SNK little military watches. Again, I believe all of those are following the same sunset plan as the SKX. The Seiko 5 is now this kind of SKX 007-ish kind of fashiony style watch with 100 meters of water resistance, same hard West crystal, aluminum insert. That's where a lot of you kind of poo-pooed the watch. But Seiko 5 is being reimagined as this watch, so you can't have an SKX ISO equivalent sitting next to it at, sometimes less. The new Seiko 5s are 3 to 350. The 007s are going out at, still 250, 300. The J's are starting to go above 300 now. It just doesn't make sense as a brand to have these two watches that are essentially the same price, and they're extremely, extremely different. It's just, imagine your Seiko, and you look down, you look at your product selection, you're like, wow, well, I can't have my new 5 if I'm going to still have my existing SKX. Those two things just don't go together. Point number 3, the SKX is just a tremendous gray market watch. It fuels the gray market, and it is fueled by the gray market. The 007, 009, 011, 013 were never USA models, so they've always been gray in this country. So how do you correct a gray market problem? Well, instead of killing your suppliers that may be doing it to you, you don't want to lose their business. You just kind of kill the model off, and then you don't have to worry about it. So the model is killed, and you kind of choke out the gray market if you want to get rid of it. Of course, I've done videos on the gray market, how the gray market is kind of sometimes needed by the manufacturers to do stuff. There's a little bit of a dynamic there, of course. But let's see. Almost getting back to reimagining Seiko 5. A year ago, 2 years ago, Seiko spun off Grand Seiko into its own company. So they're elevating the watches, elevating the line. The Seikos that we know of that are, your quartz dress watches that you saw in Macy's for 150, 200 bucks. A lot of that stuff is kind of disappearing. They elevated almost every diver, right, to the Prospex lineup. Invented this new Presage for the USA. They got rid of a lot of the spring drives and moved them up to Grand Seiko. So it kind of sets you up for, just elevating a lot of the brand, and you kind of don't want this fodder down there at the bottom, this SKX stuff, to muddy the waters, if you will. And then just, hitting on that point again, and this kind of gets back into the Seiko 5 thing. A lot of people said, oh, well, the Seiko 5 is the new 5 is a loser, the price, this, that. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're wrong because these watches are really not 100% made to go online. They're made to sit in a not a mom and pop jewelry store. They make it sit in a large volume jewelry center, whether it be in a Macy's or in Canada, the Bay, or a large store that moves volume. And here you have a nice, automatic, stylish, with a name people know for 325, 350, and it's sitting next to a Citizen Echo Drive that is solar, that's going for the same price. So it just, I feel they made a very good marketing decision. You may disagree with me, and of course it kills my business to lose the SKX, but I kind of feel that all this plays in to what their grand scheme is. Let's see, and the last thing, if you hear a buzz in the background, I apologize. It's fall cleanup season around here. The last thing I want to do, and don't get insulted on this one, guys. You, me, the most of the viewing community, your Facebook groups, some of your Instagram followers, we are in such a microcosm. We don't really matter all that much. I'm sorry to say it. People say, "Oh, how could you kill off such a volume line?" It's not volume to them. Not when, in the Quartz heyday, they were putting out, 20, 25,000 watches a day. This is not volume. This is not a money maker. It's not a core competency. It's just a cool watch that has a niche home. So when you say, "Oh, it's such a bad business decision," you're getting rid of such a small number, if you are even getting rid of it and not just diverting the business somewhere else. I really don't see that side of the argument. I read all the comments. People are like, "Oh, it's such a stupid business maneuver. You're losing all these customers." That you're such a small part. They're not looking at you. Most people still in America, I will say, again, this is America, of course. You could ask 100 people on the street what an automatic watch is versus a quartz watch, and by the way gentrification is taking place and the older people are going out, to put it politely, most people do not know what it is. All they know is a battery-operated watch. They don't know what an automatic is without a battery. So Seiko 5, they're trying to bring that back in, but in the same breath, having an ISO-rated diver that you can customize and change the crystal and all those stuff. I really honestly don't think it's their core customer. I think that's it. There might have been a couple other things I had floating in my mind, but you guys can comment on it. Let me know what you think. So that's it. This has been Mark from LoyalWatch.com giving you my opinion of why Seiko discontinued or is discontinuing the SKX lineup. You can like the video if you enjoyed it. I think you'll like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I would really appreciate that. Follow me on Instagram. Your questions and comments, put them down below. I have a feeling this video is going to generate a ton of comments. I will read them all as usual. I may not get to answer them all, but put them down below. I always love to read your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.